Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome back to Let's Play Kirby's Dream Land 3. In the last episode, we completed the Heartstar challenges for the last half, or the latter half of Level 4 Cloudy Park. And we are now going to face Otto. I've already gotten rid of Rick as well as the Fireball ability, so I can show you how to fight him without any powers. Or her. It's kind of hard to tell if Otto is male or female. However, what is important, however, is the bosses that Otto sends at you. Now, here's the dragon, the ice dragon from World 4 of Kirby's Dream Land 2. This guy has two attacks, shooting ice blocks at you, and rushing at you with an ice breath. You definitely don't want to get hit with either. And after about 3 blocks, spat back in his face, you get this guy, the World 3 boss from Dreamland 2. He has a name, I just can't remember what it is. He will jump towards you multiple times. He produces these starfish that you have to send back at him, just by inhaling and exhaling again. And he will hop at you 2 or 3 times. Also, you want to wait for him to stop flashing before hitting him with another starfish that he creates. And in case you get under him during the part where he hops around, he will stop to change direction, and then the remainder of his hops will go towards you again. And here's Mr. Shine and Mr. Bright, or at least paintings of them. Looks like Mr. Shine will drop some fireballs, and we have to send them Mr. Bright, and I thought I could slide under him. Apparently his hitbox does not allow for that. The story of my life. Now, these two guys will now switch roles. That was not worth it either. Come on. Can I stop getting hit, please? The less health I have here, the less health I have to work with for the next phase. There is another phase after this, but thankfully, it's the last major one. It's Kracko. And Kracko attacks a little differently here. He doesn't fight like he does in Kirby Superstar. Sometimes he'll send out little babies of himself. Sometimes he'll try to shock you. You do want to watch out for that. In case he goes from one end of the room to the other to shoot lightning down like that, just go all the way up to the corner of the side that you're on. You should be good. Also, he will drop his own offspring in 4 spots. Thankfully, it's pretty easy to figure out where he's going to drop them, so you can send them at him later. And then he does a little bit of roulette, where he just moves back and forth trying to track you. And he'll either shock the ground, or send out a tiny mini Kracko. And I didn't know if he was going to track me there or not, so I just decided to wait and see there. Well, that was talented. Did not expect to do that. And of course, the attack he's going to do is random. And apparently you don't really have to go into the corner. You just have to stay all the way to the far side, and there you go. Not much of a problem. And I'm going to go a little further to the right here, just in case he stops and does that, obviously. And now I just have one more attack. And now Addo's going to come after us. They only have like 1/2 unit of health. Just hold down and B, that lets you slide. I forgot about that one thing in the controls entirely, because I never mention it because I don't really find any use for the slide other than that. You probably could hit him with an air pellet, but the slide is just funnier. Plus, he goes up into the air when you hit him with the slide, which is pretty nice. And then when Otto gets knocked into the wall, they are defeated. We've collected all the heart stars, so this place is safe from the influence of dark matter. Kirby does a little dance. We go to level 5. Iceberg. And we deal with the flowers one more time in 5-1. So let's go ahead and do that. First of all, there's a thing that I want to get. It is the fire ability, because we're going to need it for the Heart Star. Of course, to get there, we're going to have to deal with a bunch of witches on brooms, a bunch of whatever these things are, and Waddle Dees. Lots of Waddle Dees. Also, I really need some health. And I need to run. And I need to get over here. There are some stars in this section. There's the fire power-up that I'm so desperately wanting. Don't really have much of a reason to go in either direction, really. It's just a simple fork in the road that you can take just to add some, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess a little, God, I can't even think of the word now. Oh well, at least you get an alternate route. Variation is probably the word, but that's not exactly the word I was thinking of. I'll just go with that anyway. And you do want to go over to the left when you make it to the top, because there is a pet brew that you're probably going to need. And I definitely need it. And there's a chime for the Heart Star Challenge. These flowers are covered in ice. We need to unfreeze them with the fire ability. And if we go into this door, we can pick up either not Koo, but Pitch or Rick. And I'm going to choose Rick, because we can leap onto enemies. And I'm going to wait for these two guys to get a little closer, because it is possible to accidentally squish the flowers after you save them. And thankfully we saved them all. That was the last one there before the door. If you squish the flowers again, you're not going to complete this challenge, and you're going to have to do this all over again. And you know what? It's a good thing that I got rid of fire, because ice is going to be useful here. I can just run right into enemies. Any snowballs that come off of Kirby that hit an enemy will freeze them, and from there I can just go ahead and send their ice-covered bodies into basically anything else in front of me. And that was terrible, and we're going off to a pretty terrible start already. As much as I like going through this stage, I don't exactly want to die in it either. And I thought that would hit the Bronto Burt. Also, what am I doing? I can just slide. Even though the snow here will kind of stop me a little bit, I would think. And that will not get rid of you, but I will jump over you anyway. Shouldn't be long until we reach the end here. And it's a good thing that I picked up ice, because I will need it for a little later on. No. You know what? You just go that way. I don't really seem to care all that much. And there's nothing over there that I can use. I thought maybe I'd be able to find some power-ups up there, but perhaps not. Do still stay away from the bats, though, as we make our way to the exit, and these guys pop out of the ground right when you reach the exit. Little element of surprise there at the end. And we now have the Heart Star for 5-1. Don't forget to pick it up. And there we go. Managed to get the one up there that I wanted to make up for. Now it's time for Stage 5-2. It's a Metroid. I bet you can see why I got the ice power-up very early on. This isn't exactly it, what I'm doing here, but, well, it kinda helps. And you are not very well liked. I'm going to get rid of you before you throw any more bones. Now here, in the second section, you will have to deal with an avalanche that is coming out from the left side of the screen. And this thing takes up more and more of the screen, or the left half of the screen, as you go through this area. And it doesn't stop. It will go more than halfway across the screen, and it's really, really annoying. There is another section like this, where you will have to deal with it with the auto-scrolling avalanche again. And that section, thankfully you get to the door there before it gets even worse. In that section, let's just say that I wish I didn't have the double tap to make Kirby any semblance of decently paced. Not fast, just decently paced. Because I start running into enemies, and then I can't get to the door because I have no idea where Kirby is, because he's buried in an avalanche. Also, Nago is a really good choice for this. And in this room is one Metroid. It doesn't look like they damage you, which is alright, I guess. I wanted to damage you, though. Why couldn't I do that? Oh, wow, I'm not directly above them, that's why. Hitboxes. Hitboxes, hitboxes, hitboxes. So that second door had 2 Metroids, this one has 3. I am glad none of them damage you. And once we get rid of all 6 Metroids and all 3 of those doors, we are done with the Heart Star Challenge. The Ice Beam is the only way to defeat the Metroids. Nothing else will work, and I'm okay with this. And for these 1-block platforms, you're better off going slow here. You're just so much better off. I might as well go ahead and grab that bat before they bounce it into the wall any further. And you do want to be careful here. There are these little yellow monsters which will try to bite at you as you grab these pet brews, which I won't be needing. Unless I take some dumb damage or something, but as long as I don't mess up too badly, there should not really be much of any chance of that. And I wanted to hit him with the star. Oh well. And of course, there's that guy blocking the door, who is hard to see coming. And this is the section I was talking about. The scrolling is a lot faster, so is the avalanche. And this stuff is why. Kirby, I need you to run. Okay, I guess you could use a slide to get past the warp, not the warp blocks, but the warp star or anything like that, but the star blocks. Still, if you try to go through it like any other way, you're probably going to get hit by one of the Frosties, which I'm assuming they're called Frosties. Or little snowman enemies. And you're going to get lost in the avalanche, and you're going to be pressing up in a frenzy because you don't know where you are, and you don't know how close you are to the door or star block or anything. And you're going to lose a life, and you'll have to do the whole section again. It's annoying. I wish they handled that last section a little bit better. But anyway, because we beat all 6 Metroids, we get to see Samus. If you didn't get the Heart Star, she will be wearing her helmet, but she will have her helmet off if you did, which is quite nice. And I don't know how I managed to get that one up, but we did it. And we got a minigame with Chef Kawasaki in 5-3. Thankfully, I remembered where it was. And this is another stage that can be hard to see on other people's YouTube videos. I hope you can see it on mine. And Penguin, who throws snowballs. Or rather, just rolls them towards you. If you defeat him before he rolls a snowball, the snowball will still be able to hurt you. And I want to get Nago for this. I mean, why not? But anyway, the stuff can be hard to see on this stage and other videos. In case your pace of brightness is a bit too high, because you can see the background through the floor. And while I do like that nice graphical touch, it can be a bit confusing for some. Even the foreground wall that you can hide behind, you can still see the background behind that. And while I have nothing against the background, it's just, there's just so much see-through stuff, and, well, if the brightness settings on things are not quite right, everything can be really hard to see. Also, I need to remember I have a double jump. And when you use ice with Nago, you actually rocket upwards with Kirby's Ice Breath, which can get you out of a couple of jams, maybe. Which I do like. Also, you can use this ability in water, which is also pretty cool. Also, in this section, you do want to be careful, because once you get up to here, up to this more narrow passageway, you guessed it, auto-scrolling. And I had the feeling I was probably going to have to use that. And I am glad to have this power-up, because it will really help with clearing out some enemies. And I need that. I may have to edit that out because I sneezed and the sneezing got me killed by the auto-scrolling. Great. I should probably listen to that later to see what my sneezing sounds like in Audacity. Spoiler alert, it's probably not going to be that great, and I'll be editing it out anyway. Can't believe I actually sneezed during a Let's Play. That's like the first time that's happened in ever. But anyway, we have yet to make it in the minigame, so I'm not exactly worried about that. And we are now back to where we died already. At least I can use the cutter in water, even though the cutter boomerang doesn't exactly travel all that far, and you do want to go up as soon as you can, right here, because you don't have the alternate path like you did earlier in the stage. And you do want to watch out for the Kappas who throw their little crowns. I want to assume they're Kappas, or at least a Dreamland equivalent. Maybe they're just really weird-looking green birds. And of course you want to watch out for the rocks here as well. Now this does not lead to the mini game. There is another section that does. And I want to be between these two stars, because that will allow me to get out of here. And, oh well, I might as well go ahead and get 2 more stars to make up for that life that I lost from sneezing in an auto-scrolling section. Ow. And I need to remember that you automatically spit out the air pellet when you land. Also, I don't necessarily need to go here, but I might as well since I have the cutter power up. You can get either Rick or Kine here, and you want to watch out for the breakaway blocks that we saw earlier. They appear below the animal buddies in this room. And here's some more Waddle Dee Genies. And here are the Gordo steps. Once you get past the Gordo steps, you'll be at the minigame. And there's 5 Gordos. Now for the minigame, Chef Kawasaki has a Gordo in front of him. 5 Gordos show up and make sounds. Each one makes an individual sound. Chef Kawasaki will then hit the one next to him, and you have the massive sound that the Gordo he hit made to the one that made the sound originally. And you have to do this 3 times. And it gets faster and harder with each time you do this. So, here we go. Ah! I thought it was the 3rd one. I'm not gonna have a good time with this minigame, I tell ya. But we are now getting close to the end of this stage. I'm beginning to kind of sour on this game a little bit, just because of what I know about it. I mean, it's a good game, but it's not going to measure up to the first 2, just because of the I wouldn't say unbelievably tough mini games, but they're like harder than they should be. Like, they could have made these a little bit easier. The rest of the game I can't really complain about, but the fact that this game doesn't control like Kirby Superstar, and the fact that it came out so late in this lifespan of the Super Nintendo means Dreamland Trilogy went out with a whimper and not a bang. Hate to sound like I'm trying not to sound too overly negative, but I'm starting to dread the post-game content because there's a boss rush, there's a mini-game rush which involves all of the mini-games in the 3rd stage of every world. There's also that challenge where you have to land on something other than a space with a spiked monster. That's basically the same as the goal 8 times in a row, or 7, or 9, I can't remember, but anyway, Chef Kawasaki is very sad that we did not complete the Heartstar mission. And there's 9. You have to land on 9 spaces in a row in order to complete the challenge. And those minigame challenges do count towards game percentage. I am okay with what Kirby's Dream Land 2 did with making the extra games count towards the game percentage, even though they were a little tough. But they made the mini-games a little too hard in this one. At least that's how I feel about it. But we will soon be reaching level 5-4 in the next video. Join me next time when we take on the second half of Iceberg. And hopefully make it to King Dedede's castle, because apparently, according to the box on the far right, that's who the boss is for this area. So until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!